All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tanvi Taneja and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. India registers over 100% hike in COVID-19 recoveries in the last 25 days. Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine begin in Chennai and Pune. Karnataka government announces commencement of online classes of all colleges from 1st of September. Safety of students during JEE and NEET 2020 top priority for authorities, says NTA. Admit cards for NEET undergraduate level released. GST Council to meet today to discuss compensation to states for the loss of revenue. And central team visiting Assam today to assess damages caused by floods. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country continues its upward trend and reached 76.3% yesterday. With sustained preemptive and timely interventions, over 24,67,000 people in the country have been successfully cured of coronavirus so far, along with the recovery of over 63,000 patients in the last 24 hours. The total number of people who recovered from COVID-19 in the country has also reached almost 3.5 times the number of active cases. India has registered over a 100% hike in recoveries in the last 25 days. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that in the last few days, India has increased its capacity of COVID-19 tests.
हमें इस बात का संतोष है कि सारे देश ने जब मिलकर लड़ाई लड़ी कोरोना के खिलाफ, तो हम दुनिया के अंदर शायद बड़े बड़े देशों से भी बेहतर प्रदर्शन कर पाए। आज बड़े गर्व के साथ हम कहते हैं कि हमारे देश का रिकवरी रेट सारे दुनिया से बेहतर है, वो 76.30 तक पहुंच गया है। हमारा देश का फैटेलिटी रेट 1.84% दुनिया में सबसे कम है। 3,78,09,556 टेस्ट हम सारे देश में कर चुके हैं और अकेले कल में हम लोगों ने 8,23,996 टेस्ट किए। एक लैब से जो यात्रा शुरू की वो 1,540 लैब्स तक पहुंच गई।
The Health Ministry has informed that out of the total active corona cases in the country, only 0.29% are on ventilators, whereas nearly 2% of the total patients are in the ICU. The case fatality rate also continues to show a steady decline and now stands at 1.84%. The Health Ministry said that over 67,000 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative figure to 32,34,475. Presently, the total number of active corona cases in the country is 7,07,267. In a single day, 1,059 deaths have also been reported, taking the toll to 59,449. India is continuously stepping up its COVID testing capacity. In the last 24 hours, more than 8,20,000 samples were tested, taking the cumulative testing numbers till date to over 3,76,51,000. The COVID positivity rate continues to record decline despite the increased testing and stands at a weekly average of around 8% of the total samples tested. Tests done per million of the population in the country have also scaled a new peak of being over 27,000. The Union Health Ministry informed that the remarkable feat has been achieved by rigorously following the test, track and treat strategy. The ICMR said that the indigenous production of testing kits in the country has brought down the cost incurred on single RT-PCR test from around 2,000 rupees to nearly 300 rupees. The week-wise average daily tests conducted has also witnessed a sharp increase from around 2.3 lakh in the first week of July this year to over 8 lakh in the current week.
In Delhi, the recovery rate of COVID patients today stands at 89.82%. It continues to be the state with the highest recovery percentage in the country. The city recorded recovery of 1,154 patients in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of recovered patients till date to 1,48,897. The city has achieved the remarkable feat of conducting 78,034 corona tests per million of its population. A total of 1,693 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were reported in the national capital during the last 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID cases in the city has reached 1,65,764. The Delhi government confirmed that 17 deaths have been reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total to 4,347. The total number of active corona cases in the city now stands at 12,520. In Rajasthan, religious places closed due to COVID-19 pandemic will be open to the public from September the 7th. The decision was taken at a review meeting chaired by Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot last evening. Our correspondent reports that the total number of infected people in the state has gone up to 74,670.
More than 1,300 cases have been reported in the state on the 11th consecutive day yesterday. 304 new cases have been reported in Jodhpur, while 295 people found positive in Jaipur first time. Former Tourism Minister Vishendra Singh and Director of Health Department Dr. K.K. Sharma have also been found infected. In the last 24 hours, 12 infected persons have lost their lives. Meanwhile, 126 prisoners have been found positive in Badmer jail, after which the district administration has shifted these prisoners to the COVID center within the prison. Jitendra Dwivedi, AII News, Jaipur.
In Gujarat, 1,197 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded during the last 24 hours. Our Ahmedabad correspondent reports that the recovery rate has further improved to 80.22%.
More than 19,69,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date, out of which 77,949 tests were carried out yesterday. Out of 1,197 new cases, the maximum 168 new cases reported from Surat. Ahmedabad city recorded 144 cases, while Vadodara city recorded 90 cases during the last 24 hours. Total cases of COVID-19 in the state have gone up to 90,139. At present, 14,884 active cases in the state, out of which 86 patients are on ventilator. At the other end, 1,047 patients have been discharged from various hospitals after recovery. With this, the total patients recovered from COVID-19 have gone up to 72,308. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Bihar is witnessing a fall in the COVID-19 infection since August 1st. 2,234 people have recovered in the last 24 hours, and the recovery rate in the state has increased to over 84%. 19,571 patients are under treatment in different hospitals. Altogether, 1,06,765 people have recovered so far across the state. The number of positive cases mounted to 1,26,990 with 2,163 fresh cases. 339 positive cases were reported from Patna in the last 24 hours. The COVID-19 death toll in Bihar has risen to 653. The number of COVID-19 tests has crossed 26,72,000 in the state.
In Madhya Pradesh, the COVID-19 recovery rate has risen to 75.8% and the fatality rate has come down to 2.29%. The state government has made arrangements to provide free corona treatment in government and contractual private hospitals in the state. We have more from our correspondent.
The recovery rate of Bhopal is 81%, Indore is 69%, Gwalior is 75% and Morena is 94% in the state. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state climbed up to 56,864 after 1,064 new cases were reported in the past 24 hours. With 17 patients succumbing to the infection, the death toll rose to 1,282. As per the State Health Bulletin, 936 coronavirus patients were discharged from the hospitals yesterday, taking the number of recovered cases in the state to 43,246. There are now 12,336 active cases in Madhya Pradesh. On the other hand, more than 20,000 tests are being conducted in Madhya Pradesh every day, while around 12,48,000 tests have been conducted till date. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Chhattisgarh, 20,000 tests will be conducted daily from the month of September to identify corona-positive patients. At present, 10 to 12,000 samples are being tested per day. Replying to the debate on adjournment motion in the State Assembly yesterday, State Health Minister T.S. Singhdeo said that more than 22,000 quarantine centers have been set up in the state, of which 778 are in urban areas. He said that all arrangements for the treatment of COVID-19 infected persons are being made by the state government. Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel assured that all the suggestions regarding prevention and control of corona infections given by the members during the debate will be forwarded to the central government.
In Maharashtra, the second phase clinical trial of the Oxford COVID-19 vaccine being manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, SII, began at a medical college and hospital in Pune yesterday. According to the hospital officials, 2 male volunteers were administered the vaccine at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College and Hospital Post. A report.
The doctors at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College and Hospital administered the first shot of the Covishield vaccine to a 32-year-old man after his reports of COVID-19 and antibodies tests came out negative. Another 48-year-old male volunteer was also given the vaccine. According to details by the medical director of Bharati Vidyapeeth's Medical College Hospital and Research Center, Dr. Sanjay Lalwani, the COVID-19 and antibodies tests were conducted on 5 volunteers. Of them, the reports of 3 volunteers' antibodies tests came out positive, so they became ineligible for today's trial. The doctor informed that in all, 25 candidates will be given the vaccine in next 7 days. Meanwhile, the Sangli district administration has initiated stringent action on the private hospitals which are asking to deposit advance amount before admitting COVID positive patients. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Meanwhile, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has said that Chase the Virus strategy will be executed across the state to break the chain of coronavirus. He was inaugurating the 816-bed jumbo COVID facility in Pimpri of Pune district. We have a report.
After facing the challenge of rising number of COVID-19 patients and surpassing Mumbai in number of cases, Pune district is all set to fight the global pandemic with 2 jumbo COVID centers. 816-bed COVID hospital built on Anna Saheb Magar Stadium in Pimpri is fully equipped with 616 oxygen beds and 200 ICU beds. This is the second jumbo COVID facility as one more jumbo COVID center was inaugurated in Pune last week. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray lauded the efforts of the administration for building this hospital in Pimpri as well as in Pune. He said that the government can achieve major success in the fight against the pandemic if the vocal testing facility which started in Mumbai on trial basis succeeds. Shailesh Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Chennai, 2 prominent medical institutions are starting the second and third phase field trial of the Oxford vaccine candidate Covishield. In another development, the Tamil Nadu government has exempted college students having arrears except in the last semester from writing the examinations in view of COVID-19. Previously, the exemption was made for the regular students. Meanwhile, the total number of COVID-19 infections in the state is nearing the 4 lakh mark. 5,958 people were tested positive yesterday, taking the total to over 3,97,000. However, the active caseload in the state is about 52,000. More from our correspondent.
Chennai is one of the 17 locations in India to conduct a field trial of the promising vaccine candidate Covishield, developed jointly by the Oxford University and the AstraZeneca. The Government Rajiv Gandhi General Hospital and the Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research are the 2 institutions in the city that run the trial. The State Director of Public Health, Dr. T.S. Selva Vinayagam, who coordinates the study in Chennai, told AIR News, healthy volunteers above the age of 18 are being involved in its multicentric clinical trial.
So we'll be starting the phase 2 and phase 3 together. We will be following the volunteers up to 180 days. This is to assess the safety, immunogenicity and reactogenicity. We'll be doing that.
The T cells in the white blood corpuscles against the viral pathogen are said to be observed in 14 days after administering the vaccine, and the antibodies in about 28 days. Their effectiveness to eliminate the virus and several other factors will be exhaustively tested during the trial. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwathanarayan has announced opening of degree colleges from the 1st of September. Speaking to media persons in Bengaluru yesterday, he said that all the degree colleges will commence online classes from the 1st of next month and offline classes from the 1st of October. The Deputy Chief Minister informed that guidelines in this regard are awaited from the central government on conducting offline classes as well as a few degree examinations in September. More from our correspondent.
Dr. Ashwath Narayan has said that all the decisions regarding commencement of degree colleges are taken in the sole interest of the students. Speaking regarding the opposition to NEET exam, the minister said that vested interest should not play with the future of children. Expressing suspicion over the opposition, the minister said it could be an attempt to allocate seats to professional courses through opaque means rather than based on merit. He cited the example of Karnataka, which successfully conducted common entrance tests for more than 1.94 lakh students, including those 63 COVID-positive students. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Meanwhile, in Karnataka, the total number of COVID-19 positive cases crossed 3 lakh mark as 8,580 new cases were registered in the state yesterday. With this, the total number of positive cases stands at 3,406 in the state. Bengaluru registered the highest number of 3,284 cases, followed by Mysuru 951 and Bellary with 510 cases. On the other hand, the death toll also crossed 5,000 mark with 133 deaths reported yesterday. The total number of fatalities has risen to 5,091. A record number of 67,066 COVID tests were conducted in the state, taking the total number of tests to 25,80,621. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India registers over 100% hike in COVID-19 recoveries in the last 25 days. Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine begin in Chennai and Pune. Karnataka government announces commencement of online classes of all colleges from 1st of September. Safety of students during JEE and NEET 2020 top priority for authorities, says NTA. Admit cards for NEET undergraduate level released. GST Council to meet today to discuss compensation to states for loss of revenue. And central team visiting Assam today to assess damage caused by floods. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
The National Testing Agency NTA has said all steps and precautions will be taken while conducting NEET and JEE 2020 exams in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. The joint entrance examination JEE mains and the NEET undergraduate examinations for admissions to technical and medical courses are scheduled to be held next month. Talking to media, NTA Director General Dr. Vineet Joshi said safety of all the students and staff is paramount to them. He assured that the government guidelines on social distancing have been followed.
कोविड-19 का पेंडेमिक है अभी, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों ने सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग की जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की गाइडलाइंस हैं उसका पूरा ध्यान में रखते हुए एक तो हमने नंबर ऑफ सेंटर्स को बढ़ाया है, नंबर ऑफ सेंटर मतलब नंबर ऑफ रूम्स को बढ़ाया है। हमने इस बात का भी पूरा ध्यान रखा हुआ है कि जो बच्चे परीक्षा केंद्र पे एकत्र होते हैं परीक्षा शुरू होने के पहले या परीक्षा खत्म होने के बाद, उसको भी प्रॉपरली कंट्रोल किया जाए। इसके अलावा नंबर ऑफ इन्विजिलेटर्स की संख्या को भी दुगना कर दिया गया है, क्योंकि एक तरफ हम सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का ध्यान रख रहे हैं, दूसरी तरफ से हम लोग यह ध्यान रख रहे हैं कि इस परीक्षा की जो एक प्रामाणिकता है, इसकी जो सीक्रेसी है, इसकी जो सेफ्टी है, वो पूरी बनी रहे.
Dr. Vineet Joshi added the number of rooms have been increased so that not more than 12 candidates sit in the same room.
जो अभी हम अकादमिक सत्र की बात करें तो काफी लेट हो चुका है, ऑलरेडी काफी लेट हो चुका है. तो हम लोग ये चाहते हैं कि ये इम्तिहान हो जाए. हम लोग अपनी तरफ से पूरी तरीके से तैयार हैं. और जहां तक स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स को इम्प्लीमेंट करने की बात है, वो अगर हम लोगों ने व्यवस्थाएं करी हैं वो, और जो बच्चे हैं, क्योंकि हमने बच्चों को भी एडवाइजरी इशू करी है, और बच्चे अगर उन एडवाइजरी को पालन करेंगे तो मुझे नहीं लगता किसी भी तरीके की समस्या होगी.
Meanwhile, the NTA has released the admit cards for National Eligibility cum Entrance Test Undergraduate NEET UG 2020 examination. In the first 3 hours, over 4 lakh candidates downloaded their admit cards. In the first 5 hours, 6.84 lakh candidates have downloaded their admit cards. Nearly 8,50,000 candidates have registered for JEE mains this year. Over 15 lakh candidates have registered for NEET undergraduate, which is slated to be held on 13th of September. In the wake of COVID-19 outbreak, the government has launched the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan (GKRA) to boost employment and livelihood opportunities for migrant workers returning to villages and similarly affected citizens in rural areas. The Abhiyan is taking action on mission mode to provide employment to migrant workers who have returned to their native villages of 6 states: Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. The Abhiyan is now empowering villagers with livelihood opportunities in 116 districts of these states. The Ministry of Rural Development said by the 9th week, a total employment of about 24 crore man-days has been provided and 18,862 crore rupees have been spent so far in the pursuit of the objectives of the Abhiyan.
World Health Organization's chief scientist, Soumya Swaminathan, has said distributing COVID-19 vaccine around the world fairly without letting the rich countries corner the limited doses is going to be a big challenge. On vaccine development for the novel coronavirus, she said, by early 2021, we should have some good news. Then there is the big challenge of being able to scale, distribute and allocate fairly around the world without letting the rich countries corner the limited doses, Ms. Swaminathan added. The chief scientist said India is in a good position because many companies are working on vaccine development either on their own or in collaboration, adding the country is a manufacturing hub for vaccines. The GST Council will meet today with the agenda of compensation for loss of revenue arising from the implementation of GST. The 41st meeting of the GST Council will be held via video conferencing. Ahead of the meeting, chief ministers of opposition-ruled states got together to devise a common strategy on the issue. Attorney General K.K. Venugopal had earlier opined that the centre is not legally bound to make up from its coffers any shortfall in GST revenues of states. The centre had in March sought views from the Attorney General on the legality of market borrowing to make good the shortfall in the compensation fund. Under GST rules and law, states were guaranteed to be compensated bi-monthly for any loss of revenue in the first 5 years of the GST implementation from 1st July 2017.
The National Health Authority has released the Draft Health Data Management Policy of the National Digital Health Mission, NDHM, in the public domain. The draft of the policy has been released on the official website of the National Digital Health Mission and will be available for public comments and feedback till 3rd of next month. The policy is in the draft stage and will be finalized after receiving suggestions from the members of the general public. Dr. Indu Bhushan, Chief Executive Officer, National Health Authority, said the Draft Health Data Management Policy is the maiden step in realizing NDHM's guiding principle of security and privacy by design for the protection of individuals' data privacy. It encompasses various aspects pertaining to health data like data privacy, consent management, data sharing and protection. The Ministry of Culture has announced 7 new circles of Archaeological Survey of India, ASI. In a video message, Culture and Tourism Minister Prahlad Singh Patel said the Ministry of Culture has taken the step in accordance with the Prime Minister's call to facilitate and strengthen the process of preservation and registration of archaeological monuments. He informed that the new circles have been created in Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, West Bengal and Gujarat. Mr. Patel said Trichy, Raiganj, Rajkot, Jabalpur, Jhansi and Meerut have been announced as the new circles.
Niti Aayog will virtually launch the India component of the Nationally Determined Contributions NDC Transport Initiative for Asia TIA today. The event will inform the transport, energy and climate stakeholders in India about planned project activities for the upcoming year. It will also offer the opportunity to provide input about India's transport challenges and how they relate to carbon dioxide reduction ambitions. The discussion will help focus the program further on India's specific needs and circumstances. The NDC TIA India component will focus on establishing a multi-stakeholder dialogue platform for decarbonizing transport in India and providing technical support on greenhouse gas emission reduction measures.
Rainfall occurred at many places over Odisha due to the low pressure area over the North Bay of Bengal. The Met Department has predicted light to moderate rain and thunder showers to continue over many places in the state till 31st of this month. More from our correspondent.
The continuance of rainfall over Odisha has caused waterlogging in isolated pockets while sparing the state of the worry of any flood fury as of now. However, the state administration is keeping a close watch on the emerging situation. Meanwhile, basing on the forecast, an overcast sky with intermittent spells either of rain or wind or both is what is in store today for quite a few places in the state. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Assam, the central team has begun their field visit to assess flood damages. The team will continue the assessment till tomorrow. CEO of the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, M.S. Manivanan, told AIR that the 6-member team has been divided into 3 groups. Mr. Manivanan said that the groups are visiting at least 7 flood-hit districts. He said that the team held a review meeting with senior Assam government officials at Guwahati last evening. Additional Chief Secretary Jishnu Barua made a presentation on flood damages for the central team. 3 waves of floods affected lakhs of people in Assam this year.
The national capital is likely to experience another spell of moderate to heavy rain starting today. India Meteorological Department IMD said that intense monsoon showers are expected in many parts of northwest India, including Delhi, in the next 24 to 48 hours. Some parts of the city and adjoining areas have already started experiencing light intermittent rain since yesterday. IMD said that the monsoon trough is shifting northwards and will stay very close to Delhi NCR region in the next 2 days.
And let us now take a look at the weather forecast for today. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 28 degrees. The city will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature was around 16 degrees, while the maximum will be 22. The city will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Ladakh will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. The temperature hovers between 16 and 27 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature hovers between 20 and 32 degrees Celsius. It will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. In Muzaffarabad, there will be thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 18 and the maximum will be 33 degrees Celsius. In Chandigarh, there will be generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 33 degrees. National capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Minimum temperature was around 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 32 degrees. In Dehradun, the minimum temperature was 23 and the maximum will be 31 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature was 23 while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. The city will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperatures in Ahmedabad was around 26 and maximum will be around 32 degrees Celsius. The city will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 36 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Reporting on India's COVID-19 tally crossing the 32 lakh mark, the Statesman writes, India third behind the USA and Brazil in terms of total caseload. Hindustan Times reports Delhi to double tests as COVID spike continues. The Tribune quotes Punjab CM as saying COVID to peak by mid-September in Punjab. Bengal lockdown till 20th of September, full shutdown in 3 days on 7th and 11th and 12th, reports the Statesman. Under the caption GST Council meets today, the Indian Express writes, squeezed by COVID, salaries on hold, states SOS to centre. The Hindu's top headline reads, at opposition meet, CM's plan to move Supreme Court on JEE NEET. The Tribune reports Sonia leads 7 CMs to take on government over GST dues, exam row. On the CBI probe in Sushant Singh Rajput's death case, the Pioneer writes, NCB joins SSR probe as Rhea Drug Act emerges. And finally, the Times of India writes, masks for COVID may end up eliminating TB by 2025 target. Better cough etiquette also a COVID impact.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India registers over 100% hike in COVID-19 recoveries in the last 25 days. Second phase clinical trials of Oxford COVID-19 vaccine begin in Chennai and Pune. Karnataka government announces commencement of online classes of all colleges from 1st of September. Safety of students during JEE NEET 2020 top priority for authorities, says NTA. Admit cards for NEET undergraduate level released. GST Council to meet today to discuss compensation to states for the loss of revenue. And central team visiting Assam today to assess damages caused by floods. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.